You could make $100,000 this year and still have absolute zero in your bank account by December. It's not because you're bad with money. It's because your paycheck was mathematically engineered to make you lose. It's a rigged game. Today, I'm breaking down the exact mechanism draining your accounts and the 3 precise moves to break off the leash. Right now, every dollar you make falls into one of 2 categories. Most people have never been told which one they're in. And that single blind spot costs them decades. The first category is income. Income is what you earn by showing up. You work, they pay, you stop working, the payments stop. The amount doesn't matter. $35,000 or $350,000, the mechanic is identical. Your entire financial survival depends on your continued presence. The moment you're sick, laid off, burned out, or done, it stops. The second category is wealth. Wealth is what earns for you when you don't. The asset appreciating while you sleep. The investment compounding while you're at dinner. The fund growing while you're on vacation. Wealth has no attendance requirement. Most people spend their entire working lives optimizing the wrong category. And the reward for that mistake is still being broke at 52. They negotiate raises, take on extra hours, pursue promotions, all while operating inside a system that resets to zero the moment they stop showing up. Not because they made bad choices, because nobody explained that 2 completely different games were being played at once, and they were only participating in one. Here's what makes the paycheck trap so effective. It feels like progress. Every 2 weeks, a number appears in your account. Your brain registers it as reward. You worked, you got paid, the loop closes. That pattern is satisfying. It's also the exact mechanism that stops you from asking the more important question. What do you own right now that's working for you? Take last month's income. Every dollar. How much of it came from something you own? An investment, a property, a business, a fund. Anything that generates value independent of your time. For most people, that number is exactly 0. Every dollar required their physical presence to arrive. That's not a flaw. It's a structural fragility. One job loss, one health event, and your entire financial life stops. Because salary is not a path to wealth. It never was. Every person who has built lasting financial independence did it through ownership, equity in things that grow, assets that produce income, systems that don't require them present to function. They started building that ownership before it felt financially comfortable. Not after. Before. The question worth asking isn't how do I get a bigger paycheck? The question is, what do I own right now that works without me? If your honest answer is nothing, that's where this starts. One job loss, one health event, one industry disruption. And everything stops. That's not a worst-case scenario. That's your actual current position stated plainly. The goal is not to flip that ratio overnight. The goal is to make it non-zero. Redirecting even 10% of your income into ownership, an index fund, a retirement account, anything that compounds, creates a fundamentally different financial trajectory than one where every dollar requires your physical presence to arrive. $5 a month into an index fund is ownership. It's not the amount, it's the category, and the moment that number is non-zero, everything changes structurally. That's the first move. But knowing you need to own assets doesn't move a dollar. The reason most people never follow through, even people who fully understand the distinction, has nothing to do with intention. It's mechanical. And once you see the mechanism, it becomes fixable in about 10 minutes. Think about the last time you told yourself you'd save more money this month. You meant it. You planned to set something aside after bills, after groceries, after everything that needed handling. Then the month ended. And what remained was either very little or nothing. Not because you failed, because you asked human willpower to compete against dozens of daily spending decisions inside a system that makes spending frictionless and saving effortful. Every one-click checkout, every auto-renewing subscription, every tap-to-pay moment, all of it was engineered to reduce friction between you and spending. Saving has no equivalent infrastructure. It requires a deliberate act, repeatedly, under conditions designed to exhaust your decision-making capacity. We expand our spending to fill whatever is accessible. That's not weakness. It's how brains interact with available money. Every dollar that flows through your checking account gets mentally categorized as spendable. The intention to save some of it later has to survive the entire month. It almost never does. Here's the number that changes how you see this. Someone who puts $400 a month into a growth account starting at 25 and stops completely at 35 will likely end up with more at retirement than someone who starts at 35 and invests $400 every month for 30 consecutive years. 10 years of investing versus 30. Same amount. The person who stopped earlier wins. Not because of smarter choices or better returns, because compound growth is non-linear. Time is the variable that makes it exponential. The earlier dollars have decades longer to multiply. Every month you delay, you lose that month's growth. And every year of compounding that was supposed to build on it. If you're waiting until the end of the month to invest whatever is left, statistically, there will be nothing left. That's not pessimism. It's a near mathematical certainty. Accessible money gets spent. The fix isn't trying harder to resist it. The fix is removing the decision before your brain ever encounters the money. The day your paycheck arrives, not the end of the month, not when you remember, set up an automatic transfer for 20% of your income to a separate growth account. If 20% feels aggressive right now, start at 10%. Start at 5%. The percentage matters less than the automation. Once the transfer runs automatically, the decision is gone. The money moves before your brain tags it as spendable. Your life adjusts to what remains. It always does. Inside that account, set up automatic purchases into a broad market index fund. Not individual stocks, not trend chasing. A total market fund that owns a small slice of the entire economy. One that has historically returned around 10% annually over long periods. You're not trying to beat the market. You're just making sure your money is working while you're not thinking about it. Income arrives. 20% moves automatically. Assets get purchased. No decision required that month. The machine runs. But there's one more mechanism. And this is the one that destroys the entire system at the exact moment you start gaining real ground. It's particularly dangerous because it doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like a reward. You now know why income and ownership are fundamentally different games, and the automation system that starts building ownership without relying on your willpower. What's coming next is the mechanism that quietly destroys this entire system the moment income rises. It activates every time you make progress, and most people never see it coming. If this is the kind of breakdown you want more of, subscribing takes 2 seconds. And this is exactly what I make every week. You get a raise. For about 72 hours, you feel genuinely ahead. Then, almost without noticing, your spending adjusts upward to match it. A slightly better apartment, because you can now. A car upgrade you've been putting off. More dinners out. More subscriptions that feel proportionate to your new income level. Each choice makes sense on its own. None of them feel like mistakes. 6 months later, you're earning more than before and saving the exact same amount, sometimes less. This is lifestyle inflation. And it is the most effective wealth destruction mechanism in existence. Precisely because it doesn't feel like destruction. It feels like finally giving yourself what you've earned. Here's what that actually costs. The average car payment in the US is around $400 a month. Over 10 years of financing vehicles, that's $48,000 paid into an asset that starts losing value the moment you drive away. Take that same $400 a month. Redirect it into a growth account at an average 8% annual return, and after 10 years you have approximately $73,000. You're not choosing between a nice car and a boring car. You're choosing between a car and $73,000 in compounding assets, a status signal now, or real options later that most people your age won't have. Now scale that logic to every lifestyle upgrade triggered by a raise. The apartment that costs $300 more per month. The services, the habits. Each individual decision is defensible. Together, they absorb every raise you'll ever receive. And the compound growth you give up in exchange is invisible until it's too late. Your raise didn't make you wealthier, it reset your spending baseline. The Paycheck system, the consumer credit system, the entire infrastructure built around your monthly income. It depends on that reset happening every time income rises. Most people let it happen automatically. When your next income increase arrives, freeze your lifestyle at exactly its current level. Not permanently, just long enough for the increase to be redirected into your growth fund before it gets absorbed into a new spending baseline. Your rent stays the same. Your habits stay the same. The only thing that changes is where the additional money goes. Into ownership instead of a lifestyle upgrade. Do this consistently for 18 months. Then look at your growth account. You'll have a number that didn't exist before. And a tangible picture of what lifestyle inflation had been silently costing you every single month. 3 decisions. Set them up once. And then there's one more thing that determines whether they actually stick. Your paycheck was never the problem. It was never supposed to build wealth. That's not what it was engineered to do. It was engineered to bring you back on Monday. The people who break out of that cycle started asking a different question early enough. Not how do I earn more, but what do I own right now that's working for me? You now have the 3 moves. The ownership audit. The 20% automation. The lifestyle freeze. That one more thing. The layer that makes this system hold under pressure. Drops on this channel. Subscribe and you won't miss it. Drop a comment. What's your current ownership ratio? Even a rough estimate. I read everyone.